Hello and welcome to my demonstration of painting sunflowers in a glass vase. My name is Sherry Woodward and I'm an artist. I enjoy painting usually every day. Can't always get to it, but I like to make it a regular practice, and I've been painting for a long time. But I just recently discovered, like within the last year, discovered soft pastels, and that is what I'm using in this demonstration. Now, soft pastels are different than oil pastels. They're held together with a different binder than oil pastels. So this is different, in case you're curious. So I thought that you might find it fun to watch. I always enjoy watching someone else paint, and so I thought, why not film myself painting this? This is one of my favorite subjects, painting flowers in a vase. And what I did is I created a lot of reference photos for myself to use. Sometimes I don't use a reference photo, but if I do, I try to use the ones that I've created. So like I love flowers and I love having fresh flowers in the house. So I'll pick up a bouquet, arrange them in different variety of different vases, and take photos of them, usually in the morning sun. But if I find that the shadows are interesting, no matter what time of day, I'll take a photo, and I keep those and use them. So anyway, I'm partial to painting flowers in a glass vase, like a clear glass vase, because I love the way light shines through the water and reflects off of the water and off of the glass vase and creates all of these interesting pops of sunlight. So I'm just fascinated with that. And really, no matter what the subject, if there's shadows and light, reflections, I'm there. That's my favorite thing to paint. I find it fascinating and beautiful. And in this case, I'm painting these sunflowers. For one thing, I love the big fat stems in the water. I like the flowers too, but the stems in the water are fascinating because as the light is flowing through that water, it gives the optical illusion sometimes, depending on where the sunlight's coming from. It gives the optical illusion that the stems are like enlarged, like larger than they are. They appear larger and scooched over to one side, again, depending on which way the sunlight is coming in. In this particular painting, you don't see it so much, but anyway, I guess I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that sort of thing. A sunlight nerd, I guess. So with the soft pastels, painting is in some ways similar to painting with oil paint, where you would put down your darker values first and you paint from dark to light. So you'll notice that I'm putting the dark spots in, like in the flowers and the blooms. And what I'll do is add layers, a little bit darker, and then gradually add lighter layers, depending on where the light is hitting the flower. So in this painting, what I did is I used a white UArt paper. I mounted it first. I mounted it onto a foam board because the UArt paper, it tends to curl. You purchase it sometimes on a roll. Even if you don't purchase it on a roll, it tends to curl because it originally was on a roll at some point. And it just, no matter how many heavy books you lay on that paper, it just will not flatten out. So not for me anyway. Must be doing something wrong. So what I did is I just mounted it onto the foam board and problem solved. So I think it probably makes it easier to frame too. This particular painting will need to be framed. Pastel paintings do need to be framed because they'll smudge, you know, if you touch them. They will last for years and years and years. They actually, if you take good care of them, they'll last longer than an oil painting or an acrylic painting. But they need to be under glass or plexiglass or something. They need to be protected, and not usually straight against the glass unless you seal up the frame so that it's airtight. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to tell you. I wanted to just show you how much fun it is to paint with soft pastels. And it doesn't have to take all day long either. Of course, I have a lot of experience and under my belt, so it probably takes me less time than someone who doesn't normally paint sunflowers all the time or paint all the time. So what I like to do is add lots of layers, much the same as you would with any other painting, whether it's acrylic or oil, and even watercolor, I guess. So, so there's that. Another thing is, let's see, what I was going to say earlier is that one other way that painting with soft pastels is similar to oil painting is with oil painting you paint fat to lean, so you put, or lean to fat, fat over lean. I'll get it right eventually. Basically what you do is you put on thin layers to begin with, and as you're adding, then you would put thicker, beefier layers on top, and that's just so that it dries right and you know, it doesn't crack. With soft pastels, you don't have that issue, so you paint fat over lean for a different reason. And what I mean fat over lean is that you're putting on light layers, you're using a light touch, putting on your layers so that you can add more layers, because eventually that sanded paper, the tooth will be used up and you will have a very hard time adding any more pastel to the paper. So you can layer them if you're careful and not use a heavy hand, then you can add many layers of pastel, and depending on the paper that you're using too. There are unsanded papers that are good. Canson makes some really good unsanded papers, and they're a lot less expensive. But I find that it's a little more frustrating, and it's I don't know, it's more difficult to get the result that you get with the sanded paper. So I like to paint with both, but I find more joy in painting on the actual sanded paper. UArt's good paper, but there are other brands that are good too. So if you've never tried soft pastel, I encourage you to give it a try. I did paint, or what am I trying to say? I taught a class using soft pastel painting landscapes. That was a fun class to teach, and it's still available. We go over how to use the soft pastels, but also how to paint a landscape and give it that three-dimensional believability. I also taught, and these are pre-recorded classes, I taught expressive bouquet class, which is kind of a loose floral painting class. And in that class, I used acrylic paint. So I used a wet paint. But, you know, I think it might be time to come up with a soft pastel floral class. So be sure and let me know if you think that's a good idea too. I think that might be my next gig. But anyway, I enjoyed painting this. I just love, as I mentioned, painting glass vases with the reflections and the way the stems look in the water. And I also love sunflowers. So, and you'll see I'm just about to add some more teal to this, to the background. You know, you just can't, I can't get away from using teal. Especially if I have browns and yellows. And, well, the brown that you see in this photo, it's really more of a violet. So violets and yellows and teals, I just think look great together. Or any kind of blue, really. But I just had to have a dose of teal. Maybe I'm thinking of Ukraine, because I see the blue and the turquoisey blue and the yellow, kind of a sunflower yellow together. I just love those colors together. I like a variety of different color combinations. Some just really speak to me. This is one. I also love to see teal right next to a bright red. Those colors together look really good too. So, but anyway, I enjoyed painting this. It took me actually 36 minutes from start to finish to do, so that's not a long time. I did speed it up for this demonstration because I, first of all, didn't want to bore you to tears. I mean, it's fun to watch somebody paint and see a painting come together, but I mean, let's be real. To sit for 30 minutes can really put you to sleep, I would say. And I don't think that I could talk for 36 minutes straight without taking a break or, you know, coffee break or something. So anyway, I did it for you. I'm just so nice. So I hope that you enjoyed this. And as I mentioned in my Facebook post, I am getting ready for my open studio, which is not going to be in my studio due to the pandemic. But I am going to have my open studio at my favorite local art store, or my favorite art store, period. And that's the California Art Supply in San Mateo. So we're going to do that on May 14th and 15th, and I hope that you'll come. If you're local, I'll be there from 11 to 5 on those 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. And I'll have some framed paintings, and a lot of them will just be ready to frame so that you can just have it framed how you like it yourself. So here I am adding my favorite color, teal, to the background. And I think it looks pretty good here. It's probably because it's sitting next to the yellow color that I really like it. And voila, here we go. Enjoy, and thanks for watching. Appreciate it.